Yo Rovers, it's Quirk here, and today we're asking a very important question. Is Qiuyuan actually a must pull for Galbrena? With Galbrena being one of the flashiest fusion DPS characters so far, everybody is saying that Qiuyuan is her best partner. But is that really true? Or is he just another shiny sub DPS that only look good on paper? So in this video, we're going to break everything down in simple terms. Qiuyuan's kit, his echo skill synergy, his weapon option, and what kind of value he brings to Galbrena, and whether he's really a must pull for you. So alright, let's dive in. First up, let's go and talk about his playstyle and kit. So who is Qiuyuan? Qiuyuan is a 5-star arrow sword sub DPS, and right away, it tells us two things. First, he's not meant to be your main damage dealer, and second, his role is more about supporting the team with buffs while doing some decent amount of damage. Now, the key thing about Qiuyuan's gameplay is this resource called Swordster Soliloquy. He built this gauge by doing his basic attack, dodge counter, and intro skill. Once that gauge hits different threshold, which is 200, 400, and 600, he unlocks 3 powerful states. At 200 points, he gets Dust Poke the Blade Inkwash, which helps him with energy regen and letting him use his Resonance Liberation faster. At 400 points, he triggers Bamboo Shade, which is where things get really interesting. This gives 30% echo skill damage bonus to all nearby teammates for a whole 30 seconds. That's a long duration, and it's one of the main reasons why people are pairing him with characters like Galbrena. At 600 points, he enters Ink Splash of Mine, a special state that lets him perform enhanced heavy attack called Dust Poke the Blade to teach, to save, and to sacrifice. These are all considered echo skill damage, and they hit pretty hard, while also giving the team some powerful buffs. Now let's talk about his Resonance Liberation, which is Sundering Strike. It is a wide arrow slash that boosts crit damage of all Resonator on your team based on Qiuyuan's own crit rate. So basically, if Qiuyuan has 80% crit rate, he can give up to 30% crit damage to everyone for 30 seconds. And that's a massive party-wide buff that can benefit any DPS, especially someone like Galbrena who relies on consistent, heavy, and echo skill attacks. And we can't forget about his outro skill, Strike Before Ready. When you switch out to Qiuyuan, he grants the next incoming character 50% echo skill damage amplification for 14 seconds. And this is the strongest source of echo skill amplification in Wuthering waves right now, making him a top tier support unit for anyone whose kit heavily relies on echo skill damage, which, surprise surprise, includes Galbrena. Now when you put all of that together, Qiuyuan isn't just a buff bot. He's a flexible sub-DPS who does consistent off-field arrow damage and provides crit and echo skill buff. But his value only shines if your team can take advantage of his echo skill damage bonuses, and that's where Galbrena comes in. Now let's talk about synergy between Qiuyuan and Galbrena, because that is the part where most people start calling him a must pull. The thing about Galbrena's entire kit, it was revolving around the fusion type echo skill damage and heavy attacks. So when you look at Qiuyuan's outro buff, which gives plus 50% echo skill damage amplification, that's basically boosting a huge portion of Galbrena's damage output directly. And it doesn't stop there. When Qiuyuan's 40 circuit hits the 400 Soliloquy threshold, he gives the entire team an additional 30% echo skill damage bonus on top of the outro buff. So if you time it right, Qiuyuan's outro plus Bamboo Shade, Galbrena can have up to 80% more echo skill damage, not counting other multipliers or fusion bonuses. And that's absolutely insane. Even more, Qiuyuan's Resonance Liberation add up to 30% team-wide crit damage, which further boosts Galbrena's scaling since her fusion attack benefit from crit. So the synergy between these two is extremely natural. Galbrena's kit constantly triggers echo skill and heavy attacks, and Qiuyuan buffs both of those things at once, and that's what makes him such a comfortable partner for Galbrena. He's a low maintenance, easy to rotate and out, and provides huge passive boost that lasts long enough for Galbrena to burst safely. But let's be real here, not everyone wants to spend their pulls on every support that comes out. So let's look at Galbrena's other option. If you can't or don't want to push Qiuyuan, your main alternatives are Lupa and Mortifi. So starting with Lupa, she's a great fusion support and can offer the following: 20% fusion damage bonus, 15% fusion resistance shred, 18% attack bonus, and more fusion damage via Flaming Claw Print Echo set, and 24% more fusion damage if you got her signature. That's a solid buff package. Not as explosive as Qiuyuan's Echo skill amplification, but still very effective in maximizing Galbrena's base damage. Then there's Mortify, who provides heavy attack damage amplification through his outro and can summon coordinated attacks with his liberation. Since Galbrena's damage heavily relies on heavy attack chains, Mortify can also work surprisingly well. But if you're strictly looking for synergy, Qiuyuan wins by a long shot. He enhances every part of Galbrena's kit: Echo skill damage, crit damage, and many more. But if you're F2P or don't have enough pulls, Lupa and Mortify, if you already have them, are still perfectly fine alternatives that can help Galbrena perform at a high level. Now let's take a quick look at Qiuyuan's weapon choices, especially his signature one. At first glance, it's basically made for him. It gives 24.3% crit rate and increases attack by 12%. Casting Echo skill grants stack of Bamboo Cleaver, which gives up to 60% heavy attack damage bonus, and even provides 20% Echo skill damage bonus to the entire team after using an intro. But for my own recommendation, if you're an F2P or low spender, you don't need his signature weapon, because his signature weapon only enhances his personal damage, but it gives a little bit of buff, but it's not worth it. But if you don't have it, you can actually use Emerald of Genesis and Red Spring. So this weapon, Red Spring, give you crit rate and buff your basic attack damage and basic damage bonus, while Emerald of Genesis actually give you energy regen and a bit of attack whenever you cast your resonance skill. But if you ask me, Emerald of Sentence is definitely the best option, especially for maximizing team buff. But for most players, Emerald of Genesis still works great as an accessible F2P alternatives that fit Qiuyuan rotation and keep his energy up. So with everything we've seen, should you actually pull Qiuyuan for Galbrena? Here's the honest answer. If you're planning to main Galbrena or use her long term, then yes, the answer will be Qiuyuan is basically a must pull. His entire kit seems tailored to enhance her strength, Echo skill damage, heavy attack multipliers, crit damage, and long duration buff that keep running while she's on the field. But if you're not planning to invest in Galbrena or you're contented on your mono fusion team, then my answer will be safely skip him. Qiuyuan is a very specialized sub DPS. Amazing when the team can use his Echo skill buffs, but if you use him outside of the Echo skill base team, he's going to be super useless. So overall, Qiuyuan is not a luxury pick. He's an investment unit that gives long-term value if you plan on using Echo-heavy teams. But if you want Galbrena to hit her maximum potential, he's practically her best partner right now. So to sum it all up, Qiuyuan and Galbrena are match made in heaven. He's the calm wind to fuel her fiery storm. If you're Galbrena's main or just love optimizing your team damage, pulling Qiuyuan will make your runs feel smoother, faster, and way more explosive. But if you're low on pulls, don't worry, you got Lupa and Mortify that are still great and budget-friendly supports. But anyway, that's all for today's breakdown. Let me know in the comment section, are you planning to pull for Qiuyuan? Or are you skipping him for the next banner? If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't. We're signing out.